Today, we are going to unpack one of the most frustrating, most illogical, and honestly, most brilliantly named paradoxes out there, the Catch-22.
I mean, come on. Have you ever found yourself asking this exact question? It's that classic, infuriating roadblock that feels totally impossible to get around. You need experience to get the job, but the only way to get experience is to, well, have the job. That feeling, that sense of being trapped by a rule that just folds in on itself and makes no sense, well, it has a name. You, my friend, are caught in a catch-22, a situation where you literally cannot win. So what is it, really? A catch-22 is the ultimate no-win situation. It's a dilemma where the very rules of the game are rigged against you from the start. See, you're not just trapped by a single bad choice. You're trapped by how the choices themselves contradict each other.
But where did this phrase even come from? You might think it's from some business seminar or a dusty psychology textbook, but nope. It actually comes from the complete absurdity of war, captured in a brilliant, must-read satirical novel. So to really understand this paradox, we have to travel back to 1961, to Joseph Heller's masterpiece, a novel that's literally titled Catch-22. Okay, so the story is all about this guy, Captain John Yossarian. He's a bombardier in the U.S. Army Air Forces, stationed on an island during World War II. And his commanding officers, they just keep raising the number of combat missions the guys have to fly. Yossarian has one goal and one goal only: survive. He wants out. So, faced with constant, life-threatening danger, Yossarian figures there's gotta be one legitimate way to get grounded. He has to be declared mentally unfit to fly. Simple, right? All he has to do is prove he's insane. But how exactly do you prove you're crazy when the entire world around you seems even crazier? Yossarian just senses something isn't right when he goes to talk to the army surgeon, a guy named Doc Danica. He asks the question that would eventually become famous. And you guessed it, there is definitely a catch. And there it is. Boom! The core of the whole paradox. Doc Danica lays it all out. Being concerned for your own safety when you're facing real and immediate danger, well, that's the thought process of a totally rational mind. So the very act of asking to be grounded proves you're sane. And if you're sane, you're fit to fly. This brings us to the actual logic of the trap itself. I mean, how does this circular reasoning work so perfectly to create this inescapable system? Let's just walk through this step by step. It's beautiful in how maddening it is. 1. To get out of flying, you gotta be crazy. 2. But to be evaluated, you have to ask for it. 3. Asking to get out of danger is a completely sane thing to do. 4. That rational act proves you're sane. And 5. If you're sane, you have to keep flying. It is a perfect, unbreakable loop. There's no exit. You know, one U.S. Circuit judge had the perfect description for this kind of logic. He called it an Escherian stairwell, like those impossible drawings. It's a staircase that you can climb and climb and climb forever without ever getting any higher. You're always moving, you're always following the rules, but you never, ever escape. Now, this kind of impossible logic, it didn't just stay in the pages of a novel. So how did this one specific fictional military rule escape its origins to describe pretty much any no-win situation we run into? Let's take a look. What's really interesting is that even in the book, the definition gets broader. Later on, an old woman explains to Yossarian that Catch-22 isn't just some rule written on a piece of paper. It's about power. It's the brutal operation of power. It's a blank check for people in charge to do whatever they want simply because there's no rule that can stop them. And that right there, that is the crucial point. That's when the term Catch-22 jumped off the page and became this powerful shorthand for any frustrating circular logic that's imposed by some big system that puts you in an absolutely impossible position. Okay, check out this real-world example from the U.S. legal system. To win a lawsuit against a government official, you have to show they violated a clearly established right from a past case that was almost identical. But here's the catch. How do you ever establish a right for the first time if one doesn't already exist? It's a perfect catch-22. Here's another fascinating one, this time from medicine. A treatment is called alternative mainly because it hasn't been scientifically proven yet. But think about it. The moment it is rigorously tested and proven to be safe and effective, well, it's not alternative anymore. It just becomes medicine. So it can only lose the label by ceasing to be itself. And in the legal world, if you're facing both criminal and civil charges for the same thing, you are in a terrible, terrible bind. You can testify in the civil case to defend yourself, but anything you say can be used against you in the criminal case. Or you can plead the fifth and stay silent, but in a civil case, that silence can be used to imply you're guilty. There is just no winning move. All of these crazy examples of circular logic and impossible choices, well, they lead us right back to that very first, very familiar problem we talked about at the beginning. The hiring catch-22 is just the perfect modern-day paradox. New graduates are completely trapped. You've got recruiting agencies that can't really place them because their clients won't pay a fee for someone without experience. Then you have the in-house recruiters who might hire them, but then they face pressure from managers who have these totally unrealistic expectations, which just sets the new hire up to fail. Ultimately, that's what a catch-22 really is. It's often an unwritten rule, an assumption, just baked into a system that puts you in an absurd position. Like Heller wrote, the most powerful catches are the ones you never even have to see. So the real question to think about is this: what are the invisible catch-22s that are running things in your life?